I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
You know, swap them around.
I was about to say, I think we're on the wrong side there or something.
Yeah, some people in Texas first. Thank you, folks. And then look back right after the election. That's all right.
All right, Mr. Secretary, will you please call roll?
Yes, sir. The Honorable Quentin Kielbasa.
Present.
The Honorable George Jones.
Here.
Jim Burdette is here. Bill Main.
Present.
Michael Trainer. Mr. Trainer is absent, but we do have a quorum, Mr. President.
All right, thank you very much. We do have public comment here. Mr. Anderson, I read your request right here, and I know one of the items you have right here is accurate home values. I don't think this is part of our agenda. This agenda here, this is a tax rate meeting,
Okay,
but we don't have anything to do with home values.
yes, I understand that, but the Wilson, the Livonia News, it reported, what it said is that basically the money you're gonna get is based on the area's home value, and they come up with $1.2 million, okay, that's understandable. They're saying the average property value of the homes around here are at $229. Basically is what they're saying, $229, $230. Well, that's not accurate, because I know the value of the homes that I live in are over $400,000, so that's gonna make your money coming in the end with all the new subdivisions going up around here. That $1.2 million isn't an accurate number. That's why I stated that, because the information that they're putting out in this article, to me, isn't accurate, because I know the property value of my home and all the surrounding homes and all these new subdivisions that are going up. And for the last 3 years, they've gone up the max allowable 10%, which is gonna give more money for all the services that are required regardless. So that's why I stated the value. I understand it's not part of this, but in the end, the money that you're gonna get per service is gonna increase, because the property value always is gonna increase, meaning you're gonna make more money. It's shown that, the history has shown that. That's why I stated the accurate assessment.
Mm-hmm.
If it's accurate to say that the area around here is at 229,000, I'd like to see that average, because I don't say that. That's a lot of houses that are lesser than mine, and there's a lot of new subdivisions going up around here. I just question the accuracy of the information being put out.
Who authored that? Who put that article together?
It was in the Livonia News dated
Does it have a byline up there?
September 3rd. No, it just talked about the meeting tonight, and then
those values are, those values are given to us by CAD. That is a certified tax roll. They are a separate entity.
Okay.
And they say, here is your information.
Yeah.
And they, in years past, have been 95% accurate. Only the 5% delta has been the uncollectibles. And so that data is not ours, and it comes from CAD.
Yeah, it's the only data that we have to go by, to be quite frank with you. And you know, most citizens, if they want to dispute the valuations, then the dispute is actually with CAD and not necessarily with us. We have to go off of those CAD values.
Yeah.
We have no choice. Sometimes I wish I did have a choice.
Yeah.
But to be quite frank with you, there is no other reference that we can go to other than Wilson County Appraisal District.
And I'm sure, you know, I don't know where everybody lives, but if everybody lives within their district, you know that's, I mean, probably your own houses are rated well above that.
All of us live in the district, we have to.
Yeah.
And so we're all in the same boat together, you might say.
Yes.
I've seen it go up quite a bit
Yeah.
over the last several years as well.
Yeah.
But then too, I gotta admit, I look at some of the property values of some of these properties that are up for sale, and I sometimes just sit there and just shake my head. I cannot believe, you know, what some of these old houses on 1 acre of land
Yes.
is going for. I'm like, man, that house is, you know, it's a mobile home and it's 40 years old, and they still want $200,000 for it. And it's just like, wow, I can't believe that's the values.
But people are paying it.
But that's what market value is. And then, of course, really, market value is different than appraised value.
Yes.
Typically, appraised value is less than market value. So, I hear what you're saying, and even the legislature heard what you're saying, because last year, or excuse me, in the last legislative session, they created what's known as a no new value rate, okay? When they say no new value, that basically means the rate that we would charge to raise no more than 3% above what we had in the prior year. So it kind of nullifies a lot of that creep that's created by increased values. Okay? So they've got a rule in here now that says the no new value rate, you know, will basically be no more than 3% of what you've gotten in the last year. So there's a check balance. To be quite frank with you, in the past, there was a number similar to that, but that auto increase was 8%. So the legislature basically crammed that back to 3%.
Okay, because I know Wilson, based right out of the assessors, the appraiser there, Wilson County is allowed to raise 10% per year, and that's what they've done. They've raised their property values 10% every year.
My home or not?
What was that average?
I'm writing a lot bigger checks than I used to write, I guarantee you that.
That's all I was, that answered my question, so I understand that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Do you have anything else on your mind that you would like to speak about?
The only other thing was this particular article, and that's the only information I had to go on, is essentially if the district is getting $1.2 million and it's not essentially enough to do anything for capital gains projects, what's the money going for? What's all this money going for?
Sure, I'll just briefly go into that. Basically, what we've done is we've added manpower. Like at this station, for example, we now have, or we're fixing to have, a 2-man crew around the clock.
Okay.
Whereas before, it was 100% volunteer.
Okay.
So people would have to get up in the middle of the night, come here, get trucks, go to the scene. Now we have wheels turning within 2 minutes. Whereas in the past, that might have been 8 to 10 minutes, okay? So you'd see a difference. I wonder who that masked man was.
So that's a,
Oh gosh, I hope that's a phone and not a gun. So anyway,
Those masks cover up a lot of.
we've got a 3-man crew at the main station. We got a 2-man crew coming in out here. Our goal is to raise the level of service. When you have a problem, we want to be there with under 7 minutes. From the time the call goes out, to the time we got manpower on the ground.
but that's gonna cost $1.2 million for 2 personnel?
So.
No, you know, you've got operating expenses, you've got debt involved in that number.
Yeah, they didn't say, the article here didn't say anything
Yeah,
about
I
that.
mean-
It doesn't say where the money's going.
Yeah.
It just
So
says
you have to remember that when we talk about 2 people here, it takes actually.
It's like 3 people in any other
Yeah,
business.
it's actually 6 new employees.
Yeah.
That make about $14 an hour.
Yeah,
And so once you start adding manpower, the dollar amount grows exponentially quick.
you know, it'd be one thing that, you know, I'd say, well, we can't even do any capital gains. Well, then next year, I can feel it right now. You didn't get to 8.4 this year, well, you're gonna jump next year from 8.1, you're gonna ask for 8.4, because you're gonna say, well, we didn't get to do either the capital gains project. So I just kind of see this stepping up, you know, every year, and
So we are still the lowest of any ESD around. We are at 8 point, or gonna go to 8.1, .081. All other ESDs, and except 3, they just lowered theirs to 9.5. We have been lower than anybody else since I've been here. We're lower than anybody in Bear County. We're lower than anybody in, other than one EMS service, because they have billing in Comal County. This board has done a great job of keeping that rate as low as possible.
Basically, I can also state that 6 out of the last 7 years, we've lowered the rate.
Yep.
Not including this year, but out of the last 7 prior to this year, we've lowered the rate 6 out of 7 years.
Yeah, but you get some of that money automatically because the property values go up, and so you're kind of keeping up with the times is what it is. Yeah, you haven't had to raise the rates, but you've gotten the increase because of the property value. Money is bringing more money for the services in general.
Because you have more people that have moved in.
Yeah, and you've
They
had,
got more people to take care of.
well, yeah, I don't know if the number of calls have increased. I don't know those numbers.
Well, I can give you that.
You know,
Basically, the call volume is up 300% in the last several years.
okay.
Whereas, 5 years ago, we'd make about 200 calls a year, and now it's approaching 800 calls a year. So, yeah, I mean, that's a considerable increase. I mean, that's times 4, basically. So,
Okay, no, that's all I had.
but the main thing is we're trying to provide a higher level of service to everybody out here. Whether it's on EMS, whether it's on fire, whatever, rescue, whatever the case may be. Getting help to you faster is, a big part of what we're trying to do.
One thing you may not know is because we didn't have a fire department there and not a volunteer, your ISO insurance rate has gone down to a 4. So if your insurance agent didn't tell you that your homeowner's insurance should have gone down, then you need to ask them,
Yeah.
check my ISO rating. And many times, it will almost be an even swap.
Okay.
That the savings on the insurance will pay for what this
Yes.
tax would
The
be.
service, yes.
So be sure and ask them. They're not volunteering it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
We appreciate you though. We sure do.
No, thank you very much for the information.
What's his first name?
Mr. John Anderson.
Okay, John Anderson.
We'll grab water. You want one?
I'm fine, thank you
You
very
good?
much for the offer.
All right, let me some. No, I got it.
You got some talking to do?
Damn bad ankle. I gotta get up and down there. Hold it.
It's every 5 years.
You have any questions?
So you got everything. Once every 5 years, you gotta do a contract. You can take that home and read it. Board.
See, some of those municipality laws are different than what we usually play by. Some are the same, some are different.